In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my bookkeeping business client onboarding process. So I'm going to share with you my client onboarding process for my bookkeeping business. Right, so I'm going to give you step by step how the process goes, and I will also be explaining to you the different things that I'm using, so to give you a little bit more detail. Now, this video is basically for those bookkeepers that you don't have an onboarding process, or you want to fine-tune your onboarding process. This is mine. You can kind of look and see what I'm doing, and then see how you're doing yours, and if there are any tweaks, and if I'm missing anything in mine, I mean, please put it in the comment section below, because I'm not perfect. All right. I am not. So first, so basically I have two ways that a client can reach out to me: via my website, or they can give me a phone call. Now, if anyone calls me on the phone, I will direct them to my website link, so that, because I have a form that they have to fill out. Now, when they fill out this form, and they'll get to schedule a meeting at the end of the form. So this form, it gives me like more information about their business, so I can have a better understanding of how they serve their clients, so I know what I'm getting myself into. And make sure, even if you do a form, ask what type of business it is. I didn't have this in mind initially, and kind of find myself in a little work, but got it all sorted out. So make sure you ask what type of business. If it's an LLC, a corporation, or escort, make sure that you find out those things in the beginning, so you know what you have to, and the information that, so you know what type of company that you're working with, so that you can provide the best service that you can. So right, so after they fill out the form, they schedule a meeting, I get an email stating that someone has scheduled a meeting with me. When I get that, I will take my non-disclosure agreement and I will email it to that potential client. Now, what is a non-disclosure agreement? A non-disclosure agreement is basically telling the potential client, I will not share any of your information with anyone. Basically, that's it, bottom line. And if you don't know what a non-disclosure agreement is, go on Google and look for what a non-disclosure agreement is. Go talk to your lawyer, go talk to your paralegal, talk to somebody that knows, that deals with the law, and ask and get them and pay them to actually write you a non-disclosure agreement. Now, after the non-disclosure agreement is, well, when the meeting comes, hopefully the client will sign the non-disclosure agreement before the meeting. Normally this doesn't happen, so when I get into the actual meeting with the client, I'll ask them if they got my non-disclosure agreement. They normally say yes, and I will say, well, could you sign it before we start the meeting? And they will sign it, and then we start the meeting. Now, I do this as, to let them know that what they're talking and what they're telling me is very private, and even when I get access to their books, it's going to be private as well, because that's the non-disclosure agreement covers all of that. And when I'm in the talking with them, I will go through with them the process, this current process, and how this is going to work. And then I will also go through with them what happens once they're on board and everything, but then I still put that inside of my proposal. Now, after the meeting, I will send them a proposal, and I normally give them like up to 7 days to do a proposal. It depends on how my week is, but the maximum amount of time that I would give a potential client to look out for my proposal is 7 days. And that might be quite long, some of you might say, but that's how it works for me, especially with my schedule. It works. Right, so I'm not trying to get overwhelmed over here, so I give them 7 days. So when I send the proposal, I give them 2 weeks to agree on it. I give a deadline date, because I'm not forever over here waiting for you to sign a proposal. You have to make up your mind if you're going with me as a bookkeeper, or if you're going to find another bookkeeper. When I send them my proposal, once they agree with it, because I don't have a signature for my proposal, they just have to call me back or email me back and tell me yes, they're going to go ahead with the proposal and the amount and stuff. And then I will send them engagement letter along with my invoice. Make sure that you get payment before you start any work. Do not start any work before you get payment. Good. I had to just stress that. I really had to, because you know, you don't want that drama. And right, so I send them the proposal. Once they sign the proposal and they send payment, then I will go. Then I will prepare a onboarding form for them, which will be pre-prepared, because from the time I get, but once I send the engagement letter, I prepare their onboarding form. Now I have a onboarding form. I currently use Content Snare for onboarding, and there are different things out there you can use. You can use Dubzado, you can use Keeper. I think they say that does onboarding, which I have to look into, because it is actually cheaper than Content Snare that I'm currently using. But make sure that you have some sort of onboarding process, some sort of program. Why I say that, and why I say make sure you have it, is because then, for example, Content Snare, when I send a client to state that I need this information, and it gives them a deadline date to be submitted by, and it's easy. They just click on it, they go into the form, and then they're able to fill in the information. And when they if they haven't completed it, it will have another email that will send it automatically. So then I don't have to be personally checking back in with the client if they submitted the information, because that program, that system, Content Snare, does that part for me, which makes it so much easier on my part. In the meantime, because obviously I've received payment and I'm waiting on them to either get bank statements, to either get access to, you know, something or the other, you know, whatever it is I'm waiting on the client for. In the meantime, I will still go in and I'll start to do, if I have, once it's a cleanup I'm doing, I'm still going to go in and I'm going to clean up their books. I am going to go through the whole setup that I would have done in that setup video. I am going to go through that, and that's part of my cleanup process actually. And I am going to make sure that everything is set up. I create the foundation so that when I am putting in all the information that they would have provided me, that my work seems even more easier, right? Because once you build a foundation, then it's a lot easier moving forward. Now, that's basically it for my onboarding process. It's not too fancy. Yes, I know there's one thing that I should have probably been doing, which I should be probably doing, is a diagnostic review. I currently don't do that right now. I did a diagnostic review once, and it was really detailed. I don't even know if I was supposed to even put all that information in that diagnostic review, but yeah, maybe I should probably start doing diagnostic reviews. But right now, this is my onboarding process. I have not added diagnostic reviews. I would like to hear from you if there's anything that you probably think that I should add to my onboarding process, or if there's anything that I had that you didn't have in your onboarding process and you're going to add. Put it in the comment section of this video. I would love to hear from you, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.